Hi Aries, happy February. I hope you're doing well. Okay. All right, I laid the cards out. The feeling that I have around this is I think you're trying to, if you're Aries rising, I think this is, it's a physical issue, like it's affecting you physically. You'll feel it in your body somewhere. If you are an Aries sun, check which house that falls in, because that's most likely where this will be playing out, where you're going to come up against whatever this is. You're trying to pull ahead there, see where your moon is to see how receptive you are to this, right? Because we can have all the drive in the world, but if your moon is in a place where it's not going to see this or feel this or want to explore this, or it feels like it's abandoned or never, the glass is half empty. It's that heaviness where you may always have enough, but you always feel like you don't, or you are a quality worker, but you always feel like you're the one behind, or you know what I mean? So how you bring something forward with this energy, you've also got to reflect in here how you do it and how you feel about how you do it, because that, I think, is going to play a role here in whether you'll move a mountain for it or not. And that's why I go through that whole spiel here, because I think for some of you, this is something that's showing up again, though, a dis-ease on the physical level to show you something. And all dis-ease is corrective if you balance this out. And that's what I think you're doing, okay? Because you come in here, who you truly are at the essence here in this reading is the Queen of Swords. That's self-mastery, okay? That's internal mastery. That's not trying to change the world, not trying to change the world's perspective of you. It's knowing who you are inside, and that's enough. It's also receptive energy, though, too. That's why I say for some of you, I think you're going to pull into alignment what wars you'll fight, which ones you'll go to battle for, hypothetically, right? But where you're putting your energy, I guess, is what I'm saying. You're being real deliberate right now, I think, on that. And if you're not, you will be. Okay? Now, how the world sees you. And again, like this. That's why I say where the moon and the sun are important, because they're mirrors, right? You can't control how people see you, but you've got to put some weight into how true is that. You know what I mean? You've got the Four of Swords, so this is not a bad thing, right? This is how the world, how you appear to others. That's very calm, cool, collected. Again, it's noticing. And if you're trying to pull something forward here in a career arena, right? But someone is never seeing, your boss isn't seeing your potential, or they're seeing someone who's squandered, or you're running all over the place, or you're not thinking before you speak. You know what I mean? You're choosing the wrong battles here, I should say. But with the Four of Swords, it's coming across very practical, very, I know when to take my foot off the gas. This person is accountable. I can trust them. They know what they're doing. They're not gonna, you've got ethical, moral, good standing with whoever, is in here. And if this is something that others are seeing in you, but you're not seeing it in yourself, be open to that. Okay? Be open to acknowledge that. Because the Four of Swords, too, is a card that says, I know where to put my energy. I know when to push ahead, and I know when to step back. I know when to put my foot on the gas, and I know when to not. I think you're restructuring here how you're balancing your life. And it's not Aries sometimes, again, wherever. It's Aries it's your breath. It's prana. It's where are you putting your energy? You know what I mean? And where is it worth it and where is it not? And I think you're becoming accountable for that in a healthy way. Okay? Now, the origin of this whole reading is the Three of Cups. That is getting over something, right? It's where I pointed out with your moon card, with your moon, is that it's heaven or hell on earth is how you make it. And that's all through your perspective of your moon. So you want to pay attention to where that is, because if you're someone who always feels defeated, or, the things we get down on ourselves about, where we're focusing more on the one thing that we know is not the best part of us, and we're forgetting the other parts that are thriving. Focus more on that and less on the things that aren't working, and you'll see that they dissipate, and they usually end up being an asset to you. You just don't see it at the time because you're looking at it different. The Three of Cups is getting over something too. So again, if you're not feeling well, this is going to clear up here. But it's I think that it's more internal changes that need to happen, and it'll of course correct everything else. Okay, because I feel like this is hitting you on like a soul level, a cell level, like it's in every tissue of your being, kind of, is where I'm feeling this. Okay. Now, the distant past is the Star card. The Star card is a card of faith more than hope, right? And it's something that turning barren land into like a rose garden. You know what I mean? You've got to water it though and tend to it in the right way. And you've got to fill in the gaps with the missing components. And this is through, balancing out your yin and yang, your internal, your external, your female, your male energy, whoever you are. We have them both, but they're so out of whack, and they've been out of whack for so long that it's the, like I say, the one wound. You'll focus on the one wound and forget all of the other things. But I'm not saying you're going to need to fill in that hole, right? But it's through balance, and it's through how you do what you do, what battles you choose, how much you invest in yourself, how much you believe in yourself. Do you rest enough? You know what I mean? Are you giving your attention? Are you putting up boundaries around the things that are important to you, right? Your health. All right. Now, in the past, you've got the King of Wands here. Okay, that's a card of, again, assurance. They know themselves. They're very charismatic, right? But what happens sometimes with that is people want to suck you dry. You know what I mean? They like the energy that you've got. You're magnetic, but at the same time, where are you just giving things away? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, do you have anything left for yourself, right? Because that's the near past. That's saying I've got to start walking my talk. That's what I think about with that card is I walk my talk. You're the good example, right? You're, instead of maybe doing something, delegate something, right? You're trying to balance things out there. That's creative energy too. That's where my ideas come from. That's where I get the energy to get the ideas. That's me taking care of myself. It's a king. It's mastery, right? So you've figured out how to do this. Okay. Now, in the present here, you've got the Seven of Coins. That's a card of financial gain, okay? But it's a card of also knowing what's in my control and what I need to trust and have faith in, and realize that some things take patience. There's only so much that I can do, and now I've got to wait for some other things. This is a card of patience, okay? It's a card, though, that says that financial gain, health gain, whatever it is that you're trying to gain balance and stability over is coming. It's just coming. It's a 7, right? So a 7 is, you're not going to get past it without having faith. You're not. And there's only one way to do it. It's the straight and narrow. And it's sometimes that you've just got to have faith that it's going to show up in the way that it's going to show up. And it is. Okay. Now, you here, your search and what you need to do to implement that. You've got the Six of Wands. That is a card, again, of mastery. You've got to believe in yourself. Though with this card, it's a wand card. You're going to have to figure out, will you move a mountain for it? And if you will, balance how you'll go about doing that, right? And again, will you open yourself up for it, right? How do I better say this? You have to ask yourself, I feel here with this card, the right questions. It is a card of victory, yes, but the part of this card is, why it's the victory card is because you go the distance. You see your value in what you're doing and how you'll do it, and you'll protect it at all costs, right? Which means I'm not going to give away my energy, my time, my space, my love, my attention to someone else's dream. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not going to do this for yourself, you're going to end up doing it for someone else. You know what I'm saying? So this is a card that says that the search you're on and the things you need to undertake here are knowing what battles to fight and which ones to let fall by the wayside that just aren't worth the bigger picture here. Okay, now this is how you have to go about this and what behaviors you have to incorporate. You have to kind of mirror these. And you've got the Knight of Swords. This is practical, making lists, being organized, knowing what you're doing. This is movement though. Okay, so you're going to have to move this forward in some way, shape, or form, but in an organized way, right? Make lists. He's very practical, very pragmatic, very, again, you've got a lot of swords here, which are very precise cards. They're not a lot of cards where, you know, I'm going to think about it. These are cards of action. So I feel here that you've got to pull something forward in an organized fashion, but movement seems to be the theme through here. Okay, now you've got here external environments and how this is affecting you and how you react to it. You come in with receptive sword energy, and now you've got the external sword, right? So it's knowing, again, when to put your foot on the gas and when not to, in a self-mastery kind of way. Meaning, I'll be open to what other people have to say. I'll you know, you're not an island, but you're very decisive right now about the things that you will allow into your life and the things that you won't. And I mean across the board here. I feel this is like a whole different way of doing things. I feel this reading is very, the outbound card, you've got the Magician. So you'll do it or you won't. It's up to you. But it sits here for you and you've got guidance through here. I think that this is going to push you to a point where you want what you want. You want something different in life. You want peace, right? Aries, though, no matter where it sits, it's the energy behind not being able to be in a rut. It's just not in your nature, right? But it doesn't mean either that you've got to exhaust yourself all the time, right? It's just practicality in what you want and then going for it, right? Like, I want this, so I'm going to push all of this aside because it's just not important right now. It's getting your priorities straight here. And I feel that this is about relationships too, what you'll put into them, why they are like they are, and what, you know, you're changing your life on a level here. Like I can say, all I keep really seeing, honestly, is like barren land and then like a rose garden. So you're going to have to figure out in here what it is that you need to do to start tilling your own soil, right? Basically, in other words, like I say, you're going to end up, you've got prime opportunity here. You've got two kings and a queen and a knight, the Magician, the Star card, and the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is, again, it's intermittent. You know, I know when to take a minute here and enjoy this. Go out to dinner and enjoy the dinner. Don't worry about doing your work. You know what I'm saying? Save time for, you're going to have to recompartmentalize your life and then put it together in a way that actually works for you. You're working smarter, not harder, is kind of what I've got the takeaway here. And what this is going to do is it's going to heal things. And by that, I mean on a physical level, on a mental level, on an emotional level. You'll see that your relationships will be a lot better because you'll be in them. And they'll be the ones that you want. You know what I'm saying? You're going to choose the battles that are important to you and let the other stuff go by the wayside. The King and Queen of Swords, too, can be also in with the King here. This is for you, though, and this is what you need to incorporate to be able to pull these things forward. So you'll have to apply this to what's out of balance here and how you balance it. But you've got the Three of Cups, so that tells me if you're in the midst of something, you're about to come on the other side of it. But with the Seven, you're going to have patience. It's going to be like, I got over the speed bump, right? But I still need to get through the gate. And be okay with that. Be okay with just getting over the speed bump and enjoy it, okay? That's what the Six of Wands card is about too. Know when you did enough and to enjoy it. Know when to call your day a day and be done. And that's what I think you're doing. You're shuffling your energy around so that you know what to give and what to receive. You know, it's kind of like consistently, you know, counting on your breath. See, take count of that. It'll slow you right down. The Star card here in the distant past is saying that this is you are divinely guided here. It's a point in time for you that this needs to happen. That's why I'm saying it's being set up here for you. So I would take advantage of it. It would be my suggestion to you. You've got a lot of strong assets in here. The only thing I think that you may need to incorporate is patience, but being at peace, waiting, you know, not like a lunatic checking the mail every 5 minutes. Like, be okay with that, you know, be okay with, I know I did what I can do. And if it's meant to be, it'll be, and it will be. You've got the Magician on the outbound. So, you know, it can be done. It's just, you're going to have to put focused. You're changing your lifestyle basically from the inside out. So that's what I've got. I hope that I helped you in some way. If you need a private reading, we can look further at that. But I can see here with all these sword cards, and they're action sword cards. They're the sword cards, though, that tell me you're not going to have any trouble. You don't have the 5 of swords. You've got the 4, right? The 4 is balance. It's I know when to take a step back, and I know when to go ahead. And I know what's worth it. And once you get that, you're right as rain. And with the Magician on the outbound, you'll do it. You can absolutely do it in a new way. I think you're doing this. You're reinventing yourself in a new way, in a very I can't even. It's in a very I don't know how to say this, in a very proper Aries way. You know what I mean? It's not the bull in the china shop. It's, you know, it's knowing what battles to fight. And that's the only way that I can say this. And what happens here is you turn your life from something that was completely barren into something that is extremely fruitful. So that's what I've got. The waters are fresh again. Okay, so there you go. And you know how to do this too. I think that internal stuff is maybe where you sell yourself short. Okay, so again, I would say here too, with these 2 kings, be conscious of the people that you're surrounding yourselves with, right? Like, make sure that they're the people that can, like-minded people. I think that's crucial here, because if you're hanging around with people that are not going in this direction, you're never going to get here. You've got enough alliance in here that says, and you've got guidance. So have faith in that. Okay, so there you go. I hope that I helped you in some way.